Hi, today I'm going to do a video. It's going to be an overview of advanced steel. I'm going to try and cover a little bit of everything the whole way from start to finish. So I'm just going to create a project as I go. I don't have anything on paper, and maybe at the end if I output drawings, if anyone needs them, if I get to that point, I can maybe share the drawings from you to get a start from. But you can just follow the video, I guess. So we'll get into management tools and we'll do some tool palette stuff and things like that. And prototypes, all that when we get to it. So I'm going to start by looking at the template so we can get started. And we'll go from there. We'll do management tools, also all those things. Alright, so I'm going to do a new template. So this is going to open the original template file for 2023. So what I like to do is I do like to create some sort of origin that I can see properly. So I'm going to put in a line from 0, 0. I'm going to go 10 feet that way. Sorry. So at least now you know when you're zoomed in far enough or not. So I'm going to create another line from the end point of that over this way, 10 feet. So you can see here is your snaps on here, and these are the ones I have set active. Sometimes I have these two on as well, but you can also right click and shift, and you can specify which one you want to use in that instance as you're doing it. So I'm going to create one more line from the end point here. That is automatically snapping to the end point. You can see it with a square on the end. I'm going to draw a line up. I'm going to draw a circle here. And I'll try and move through this pretty quick, but I'm not going to rush it. So let's come up here. This is your compass mark. I like to put in a compass now because sometimes I forget to put in a compass. So I'll just put this in, and then later I can just come in here and do rotate. And then I can rotate it whatever way I want it. So I just like to have it in there. So now I also like to draw a rectangle. So what I'll do is I'll just draw a rectangle over here, and I'll make it 24 feet, tab 8 feet. Okay. That doesn't look like 24/8, does it? Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. So we'll move this over this direction. Let's extend this out a couple of feet here. It looks a little off. Alright. So what we do is we can put some cameras in here. So let me draw a line across here just so everything is kind of even. And what we want to do is open our tool palette. So when I start, what I like to do is I'll do my connection vault. I'll close that panel down. And then I like to do my tool palette. Sorry, my tool palette must have been open there already. I just closed it. I like to keep these over here. Now I'm on my laptop right now, but a lot of times I'm on my ultra wide screen at work, so the tabs work even better on that screen, but I like it the way I set it up, so this is just the way I do it. So let me come over here, drawing styles, drawing process. Now yours might not pop up here. I had mine already opened, and now they're just popping up where I previously had them. So I'm going to close down. I don't ever look at these previews anyway, and a lot of them are my own, which I haven't added images for, but maybe I'll include that in this video also. And then your project explorer. Now, the one thing I'm probably not going to cover is structures, because I don't use this. So you can put in different levels, and it's good because you can move all the steel together if it's connected to a level, but for projects I do not need it. So I do not use it, and I'm not going to be an expert on it, so I'm not going to cover it. So right now we're going to go over here to the tool palette, And let's go in here and let's put a camera here on the center. Okay, and I'm going to make this a detail camera, and I don't need to put a name in. There's no advantage to me putting a name in, but I generally use detail view ADM 330 seconds, and I'll either be inches to 1 or inch and a half as to 1. So I'll go inches to 1 front and rear usually, and I also have fixed, so I'll just go 3 feet and 3 feet. So now we have one detail camera. Now you just need to be careful doing this. I don't always use these. It's probably good practice, but the problem with this system is if you use one of these ones over here where you're using all cameras, where you're going to send all your cameras to, I have the user one, or sorry, I have the system ones turned off, just mine here, but you can use ones to send all cameras to drones, and then you're going to end up sending these cameras also. So just be careful with this. Let me move this over another 4 feet. Let's copy this over. 4 is 9 feet. Now you might want to rotate some of these or whatever you want to do, or make them a different color. So if you come up here, what you can do is let's come in here and let's create some more layers in here also. So I also have some extra layers, but they're in my other one, which obviously I've created this new one here. So just go in and pick one of these, and it doesn't really matter which one unless the opacity or all that is gone. So let me delete that, and I'll just copy the camera one just to make it less confusing. So I'm going to do camera detail, camera details, and I'll do my details in green. Now you can create them on them level. I don't on them layer, on that layer, but I just create them I just put them on the layer after I create the camera. So details, elevations, and then plan. Sorry, I'm trying to use the keyboard around my microphone unsuccessfully, as you can see. Plans. Rename the layer. Camera elevations, or it'll bother me. Alright, so my elevations will make them yellow, and plans will make maroon, I guess, or some type of maroon. Alright, so this one here, probably if it's going to be a plan view, so we're going to make this a plan view. We're going to come in here, make this plan 30 seconds, and this is going to be smaller, so we can do like a quarter or an eighth, and then you can resize it when it gets on the drawing anyway. The front view, I'm going to make it 18 fixed automatic, so I'm going to do automatic, so it takes everything into account. I'm going to pick that, and that's going to be on the camera's plan. Then this one, what we can do is we want to rotate around the X and around the Y, and rotate this, because this is going to be an elevation, midpoint between these two. And we're just going to rotate this 90 degrees. Then I'm going to select that camera. And this is probably going to be a specific size, but maybe not. So we'll make this elevation. We'll double click on it. And we'll make this an elevation. And we'll come in here. Now, I create them project specific, but maybe you want to do this. This is the only reason I'm showing you, but I don't necessarily do this all the time. Sorry, I'm looking for elevation, ADM, 330. As you see, I have a lot in here. I tweak with this and mess around with it all the time. Detail box, front, rear. I'll just keep that an even number. And 3 and 3. I want this to be automatic as well. Alright, so now you have cameras here, right? So you can put some text in here so you can see what's going on. And you'll know what to pick, so that's a detail one. Yikes, that's not what I want to do. Alright, so let's just go to the top. And I should have reset that. Alright, try and get your text in right so it looks right. Because this is going to be the template you're going to open every time, right? The only reason the box is there is just to make it look like it's in one spot, kind of. Detail. And then copy this across. That's plan, and that's elevation. Plan. Elevation. Elevation. And let's move this box out a little more. Let's delete the line. And we'll just keep the writing kind of uniform. So I'm just escaping after I change it, so I'm not highlighting the other ones. Alright, so this is what we got. If you want to make your box a little smaller, that's fine. Doesn't really matter, obviously. It's just a box. Okay, so now you have some cameras there. You want to check your units. These are your drawing units. Architectural precision 1/16. Sometimes I like 1/32. Sometimes I like 1/16. So that's okay. Alright, so we'll leave that at that. You can also come in here and do your project settings in here. We should keep these the same. 1/32. Okay. Alright, so now we're kind of set up. I want to add a couple more layers in here. So what I'm going to do is, we don't have any glass, we don't have any grout, we don't have a PDF layer. So let me create those layers. So I want the glass to be blue, so I'll just pick a blue one here. And I'm going to call this glass. Glass, and then you want to come over here, transparency, and a transparency value of 0 is no transparency, and it goes up to 100, I think. So we want to set this to like 70 so you can see through the glass. So now we have a layer called glass. So don't copy that one, because otherwise the grout will have transparency. So what I'll do is I'll go to a concrete one, so concrete footing, and these are all, I don't like these on the 9 layer. I like to use the 8 layer. So this is the 8 layer. So I'll change all these to the 8 layer. I don't need to do it right now, because I probably won't actually use this prototype, because I already have one. But you never know. Maybe this will be a better prototype and I'll start using it. So let me do it. I do use 253 in my printing, so let me see. Alright, so let's go to concrete footings, create a new one. I want to call it grout. So I want grout, and then there's one more I want is PDF. So I'm just going to go to the standard one here, create a new one, and I'm going to call it PDF to put my PDFs on it. Okay, so that should be good for now. I close that, and then you're going to come up here to this top and go to save as drawing template. So you can see I already have this one here, so let's rename this one, and it can be B, right? Okay, standard, this is all good. Save all layers as unreconciled. measurement. New layer notification. I'm not even sure about this, to be honest. It's been a while since I saved the template, you can see. Save the template file with its layer set as reconciled, which results in creating a layer baseline. So we'll do that. Seems like it makes sense. Alright, so now we have a template. Save changes. Yes, that's only asking me that because I orbited it a little bit. Now, let's not do that. Save as DWG. We don't want to do that. So let's just go back and make sure we saved it properly. Yeah, so we did. We're going to save it. Yes, I'll replace it. Everything is okay. And I won't orbit this time, and I'll just close it. Alright, so now when I click on this, it should open the previous template. Now, it may be the one I've used previously, or else it's the one I just created. So let's see. It has opened neither of them. Okay, so that was not a good idea. Save changes to drawing. No. So what I have to do is open one. So let's do new. And got more templates. Browse templates. And we'll open that new one we just did. So let's see if we open the next one, it should come in looking like this one. So if I just do this, I don't know if we have to close advanced steel, but it should work. Yeah, so I see it's open that template now. So moving forward, when you click on this plus button, it will open the template. So now we're in the project. We should take a look in the Project Explorer, the management tool. Sorry, I won't get into this too much because you could be in here for hours. But basically, you have preferred sizes. So you have beams, and if you click material, you can see the available classes up here. So preferred classes and available. So you can make more available, you can make less. There's a lot in here we don't really need. I could remove those. Plates, material. You can see there's not as much material here. So any of these you can remove. Also, if you go back to your home screen, before you change anything, you can come in here to your options. And you can see the current order is ADM, which is my company name, but you can create, I have different ones here I mess around with. You should really open one for each company. If your companies have different settings, you want to open one for each company here. So start with a baseline and then change each as you go. So I'm not going to do that. That's easy to open. You just go here and click on this and you create a new one. So let's go back. Preferred sizes, defaults. This is where a lot of stuff happens. Hard to remember what's going on in here, but you will get used to it. You can also use a filter to let's see if we put in single parts, drawing general. You can see check update and BOM for single part drawings. There's a lot of settings in here. I probably should do a video on just settings in here that are important. Maybe I'll do that sometime. Allow single part labeling with it. So anyway, you get the idea. Whatever you're looking for, you got to look for it in here. Hopefully we'll have to look for a couple of things. Also, you can object property editor. You can add new model roles here. So if you want to go in here and just pick one of these, just do new and add a model role, and you want to come in and hit this button afterwards to update your project. Yeah, let's see. If I go here, you see, if you want to do this, it updates your defaults, right? So these are your defaults you're messing around with in here. If you go back here, you can create anchors. This table editor, this one is very important. Unit selection. So you can see my precision is set here to 1/16. So we can change this to 1/32 also. Apply. the unit has been modified. All open tabs will be closed. Okay. Options. So that unit is for inside in this. So convert databases, I don't use that. Shear studs, bolts, anchors, create new anchors, whatever you need. So the table editor is this one, and you have to load this. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. So this will load up here, and if you go in here, there's all sorts in here. If you go in here into your profiles, you can see, if you come down here and pick any of these, HSS square, if you want to create your own custom size, you can do so by copying here, and then just make sure you know what you're doing. Have your USA folder backed up. Your USA folder is your folder in your C drive, program data, Autodesk. So I'm in version Advanced Data 2023. This folder here, you just want to zip this once a week. I do it more often than once a week. I have plenty of backups online in my Dropbox. So you want to copy this folder, and then you can actually clone this. So if I bring this to another computer, so I'm on my laptop now, if I bring this to my desktop, I can just delete this setting here, AS settings user, and then type in up here log.ldf, and then you want to select all these. As you can see, I have the power pack as well, so there's some extra ones here. If you don't have the power pack, you won't see them, and you want to delete these when you go to a different computer, not right now. So make sure you back up your USA folder before you do anything. You can back up the individual databases, but better just back up the whole folder, I think. Alright, so we'll close that and we'll get started on something. So up here is your tool palettes. A lot of these you're not going to use. I'd say you probably don't even use 50% of them. Over here I have some custom commands, which I use, but not. These three are the 3 time savers for me, the top 3. I try not to rush every project, so I'm not looking for too many shortcuts. Alright, so we'll start. We'll do a little model, and what I'll do is I'll start it. I don't always start from the origin. You should stay close to the origin at least. So what I'm going to do is I usually end up starting from here. So there's a lot of different ways to do your grids. For me, I just do single axis all the time. So let's just say we're going to do 3 grid lines in either direction. I'm going to do 15 feet this way, so I'm going to do 30 feet. I'm not going to do a big model. Just going to do a small model, but I'll do a stairs. I'll do an extra level. Capital letters. No, I gotta do numbers 1 edging. Okay. Alright, so there's my grid line 1. I'm going to copy that over this way, and I'll array it. I won't array it actually. I'll keep it a little off. So what I'll do is I'll copy it this way 22 feet, and then I'll copy it 47 feet, so another 25 feet, 47 feet, and then before you go too far, you want to change these. Now these are, you can check, a lot of times I'll put these in, as on a construction layer, and then I'll put them later onto the grid layer. But these are on I also, in my previous template, I have a grid's first floor, grid second floor, grid third floor. But I only needed that in the past. I don't need that anymore, because now you only need to put the grids in on one level. So let's go back and we'll do another single grid going this way. Now you can just snap there, and that's probably going to be right, but I do like to use these to restrict my movement to the x-axis. So now I can be more confident. I would recommend using these when you're doing your grids, especially because I have done large projects a couple of years ago where my grid was off like a 16th or an 8th, and then I couldn't put on my connections in. So you can also check it by going up here to the distance, and then I'm going to check from here over to here. You can see that's 47 feet and 0 and 0, so we're good. We may not be perfect, but we should be, because it's only measuring within 1/32. So if I was off by less than that, it's not going to show me. So I'm going to copy, and I'm going to array, and I want, it says enter the number of items to array 3. And you could do fit, or I already know it's 15 feet, so I want 15 feet between them. So there you go. So I'm going to do A, and this is going to be B, and this is going to be C. So what I'm going to show you, I don't have a PDF for this project, but what I'm going to do is I'll just show you what to do with a PDF. So I'm going to set the UCS to world. I'm going to actually snap it to this corner so the PDF comes in over here, because everything is related to your UCS, right? This is my UCS. Set axis up. I hit the home first. I hit the home quite regularly. So then I'm going to go to import, export, import. Import, export, export, import. Attach. I'm just going to attach a random one. I'm just going to pick any job here. Let me see. Let me see. Documents received. Now, you really need to check what page you want first. So it'll give you a little preview here. And so I didn't pick, you know what, I didn't pick the best job there. Let me pick a different job. Let me pick a better one. That's just a little dunnage with some handrails. So you just need to know which page to pick. And you might be able to tell from looking at it here. I can't really tell, so let me go and open it. Sorry. So let me go and find it. It's funny that the computer gets quite a bit slower with the screen recording software. Alright, we're here somewhere. Where is it? Here we go. So this will give us something to work with anyway. So this is page 24 of 25. So let's close these down. Page 24 of 25. You can put in the scale here, or you can just leave it. And now we can go back to the top view. We're going to scroll in here. I'm going to select this. It automatically jumps here where you can turn this off or not. But I like to put this on the PDF layer. So now that's on the PDF layer, so I can turn off that layer later. So right now we're going to come down here and we're going to look for the scale. So the scale is 1/4:1. So you can scale it two ways. You can either draw a line here. So let me draw a circle here. And we'll make that a 1/4" circle. And then we're going to copy this over here, 15'4". And you can see it's going to be over here. It's going to be a circle here somewhere. There it is over there. So we're going to scale this up. So you're going to select this. scale this up from center point of that. I'm going to do reference, center point, end point, and then you can see it's getting bigger. I've lost my other circle. So I don't know where the other circle went. Alright, there's the other circle. I zoomed out too far. So look, just to save time, you can do it by reference. Well, I guess there's no point in skipping it now, right? Let me see. Scale, center, reference, here, there. I guess I missed my second point. Sorry again. So the easy way of doing it is just, this is the more accurate way. So let's not worry about the easier way. Because these aren't always to scale. So reference. I got to slow down a little bit. Specify the reference length. The reference length is from there to here. And then the new length is here. So now it's made that line that length. So now you're good. So the other way of doing it is we can back up. You can see now you'd have to move this over because I didn't scale it from the corner. So you just want to move that from here. And you'll move it over to your C3. And then you can draw over this. Or you can back out of it and just pick on this and do scale. And if it's a quarter, it's the one that is 4 by 12 is 48. And there's your scaled up. So that's what you're going to do with your PDF. Now my PDF is on the PDF layer, so I'm going to turn that off. So I'll give it a couple more minutes and I'll just get some of the frame in here, some of the framing. So if you want to put a column in here, you can go up here and you can go to column. And then I can put it in here. Now I've put that in on the end point, but what you can do is, let me delete that and let me go to column, and you can do right click and shift. And you can go to grid intersection and it'll copy it right there to that grid intersection. Now the problem with this is this column is going to come in 12 by 16, which is fine. Let's say we want to leave it at that size, or we can change it. We can come in here and you can see that the material and the coating will come in if you right click up on the top. So the position, I want it to be up here, and I want the position to always come in like that, so that's good. And the name, it automatically comes in as column because you use the column command. The problem with this is this column is now 16 feet long. And if I come back here and go to the management tools and go to the defaults, and I'll type in column, and I guess, is it under beam? Let's see, default height for column 16 feet. So it's going to come in at 16 feet all the time. So I don't ever use column, to be honest with you. I just keep putting beams in. So I'm going to put in 12-foot high beam. And I'll put it in as a W10 by 30. And this, I want it on the center of the beam. And I want to name this a column. 2, 3, 4. So 4 times. Just keep pressing C. And I want the model role to stay the same next time. So next time I create something, now I can copy this one, but I'm just going to show you how it works. This one now also, I did want to put on the column layer. Keeping them on the right layers is not as important as giving them a model role, but it is important nonetheless. So let's say if I go to do another beam now, and I go to do the same thing, and I go to snap on this center point, or sorry, on this grid intersection, and I go up 10 feet, 12 feet. I go up 12 feet. I see it came in on the same center line because of these settings up here in the top, which a lot of people don't seem to know about. Now these are coming in as 2023 sections. I should really address that. I should really change it to, what did I say this was, 10 by 30? 10 by 30. So now this is a 10 by 30. It's on the wrong layer, but it's the right beam. So these two beams are now different because this one is AASC 15. So what I'm going to do is I'll make this one, I'll convert this one's properties to this one, so you can see it's changed layer, and then I'll select the two of those and put them back on the camera layer. Or not in the camera, it's column layer, sorry, I'm confusing myself. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this, and I know this is 25 feet, so you can see the way that green line is slapped there. I know that it's going that way, 0 degrees. You'll see it afterwards. You can restrict it, but when I'm sending it a distance, I usually just run my mouse out, and then I remove my hand from the mouse, and then I want to go this way 25 feet. Now, I can copy all three of these, and I can copy them. Just pick a point anywhere, make sure see the green line, and then I'm going to go 15 feet, and I'm going to go 30 feet. Now you can copy them many different ways. That's just the way I like to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this column here, and for now you can see I'm starting to have something, right? So we want to do some framing here. So what I'll do is we'll create beams in different directions. Maybe we'll fill in some beams. Let's see. So what have we got? 25 feet. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just put it. Like I said, I don't have anything written out for this. So you want to go from the node. You can see that snapping to the node there. It doesn't always snap to the node unless you come down here. Not in there. Sorry about that. Microsoft Edge. I wish I could get it off my computer. So you can turn off the snaps if you want, or just come in here. And right now, because I'm using beams, I just want to go to nodes. So see the way that's snapping there? So now it's set to come in on the center, right? So we don't want it to be the center. We want it to be the top, because now we're going to be doing beams. So we want it to be top, and then the name also. You have to do this when this box opens straight away. You can't reopen it and do this. It's the first time. So if I come back in and try and activate these settings, if I right click, it doesn't work. See, there's nothing there. It's not giving me those options. Alright, so now I've created a beam going the whole way across here. It used to matter the direction, so I would always model it this way and this way. Now I don't believe it matters for your NC files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way to here. You can see that snapped I'm in the green line the way I want to be. So I have this command here, which I'll see if I can add in later for instances like this, where I can just select that and it will extend that. Now there is an extend system command. I don't even use it. It's here somewhere in the tool palette, but you have to click on it a couple of times and it's a whole thing. That's a custom command I have that helps you put it in a little easier. So I'm going to copy this from, we can do node, because node is set up and this node is on the grid center point. So I'm going to do node. You can see, because you only have one, it has no choice but to give you a node, so it's very easy to snap to these. Now if you use your structures tab, you can set this up so that these are all set to a specific height, and then if you change that elevation, I'll show you, that's the kids' home. And the dog, hold on, let me pause this so I can let the dog upstairs. Hello, yeah, sorry. Hopefully they're not too noisy up there. So let me copy this one and I'll do the same thing. Copy it from here to here. Now I can pick this one. I won't even get into that. We don't need to do that. Alright, so now we have these beams in here, okay? So now we want to split these three at these columns, right? So let's split these at that node. And let's split these three at this other node. See, it is handy when you just have one on at times. So now all these beams are separate. Alright, so now the problem is these beams are too small for me, right? So let's say you forgot that. So now that these are all on the one layer and the one type, we can do select similar, advanced properties, and we'll make these 12 by 26. Doesn't really matter, whatever. 12 by 26, just double check. It's important that they have a model role. Here I'm going to do some sort of a moment connection, I think. I'm not an engineer, so it's probably not going to pass any tests or anything, but what I'll do is, this is the shorter distance, it's 30 feet. So what I'll do is I can join this beam back together. So go back here, select these two. So it was this command here below the split one, and you can see that is joined back together again. And what I'll do is I'll make this a bigger beam and I'll make it a W16 by 45. Now that's good because it's making into the big part of the web there. So right now we're kind of set up. I'll give it another minute. We'll do a couple of connections on the bottom maybe. Maybe I'll change some of these. Let's say these are going to be architectural on this end, and maybe he decides he wants these to be HSS instead. So advanced properties. Let's change these to rectangular hollow sections. Let's go in here. We'll change it to 2015. And we'll do 5 by 5 by 3/8. And it's columns, so that's good. Alright, so those columns are in. Alright, so what I'll do now is I'm just going to set up, let me check that my columns are, they're on the grid line, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll put in some base connections here. So if I go in here, if you go here, you can see base connection. So let's use this, and let's pick this one here. Do you want an additional concrete object? No. So what I'll do is I'll escape out of that. Let's just create a concrete object. So your UCS, set it to world again, so it's down on that 0, 0 line. Well, it is now a 0, 0 line. Let's say you want this to be, this bottom line is 55 feet in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a one level symbol here on the intersection. And I'm going to call this a global height of 55 feet. So my columns, so you can see now this is saying that this is 55 feet high. So now if I go to the top of this column, which is 12 feet high, this should be 55 and 12, which is 67. 67 feet, and it comes up at 67 feet, and it will on your drawing also. So I'll leave that out for now, but let's say, so now we want to put in concrete. So let's Let's go to objects, concrete. I'm going to go from here. I don't always put in concrete, to be honest. A lot of times I will just make this an extruded box. So you can see it's 47 by 30. So I'll change this to 67 by 50. Alright, see? So it's 10 feet either direction. And the thickness of this should be 8 automatically, yes. So let's make it 10 in case we want to have long anchors. So let's just make it 10. Alright, let's do a couple of base plates now, and then we'll leave it at that for this session. Where am I going? Sorry. Connection vault, base plate. Also, I have it in my favorites. If you want to favorite it, just go over here. Base plate. Let's select here. Do you want additional concrete objects? Let's say yes. So it's not going to clash. This might come in with something out of my connection vault. It's not usually this slow, as I was saying. Yeah. Let's pretend this is, you know what, we could put some footings in. What I'm going to do is I'll move up this floor and I'll put some footings in because I want to do a bigger base plate than that. So let's pretend the floor is up a little higher. So right now let's do base plate, 1 inch base plate. So that's good. 3/4 would probably be fine, but let's do 3/4 base plate. That's not 3/4. 3/4 base plate, and then I want to do a value of 1.5 plus the 3/4 is 2.25 for grout, and then plate dimensions. I'm going to go to value total. I'm going to go to total, I'm going to go to plate dimensions, I'm going to see it's 11, so I want to make that 12, and in the other direction I'm going to make it 10. And I'm going to spread out these anchors a little bit. So anchors parallel, I'm going to say 4 inches is not far enough, I just went 10, so 10 minus 3 is 7. And I picked 3 because I want 1.5 either side. So let's just go with that for now. That'll do. I just want to make sure the anchors and the holes. You can see the holes are a value tolerance of 5/16, which is fine for anchors for me. I want 12-inch anchor lengths, but I want to change this to Hilti HY 200. Has E. That's good. I don't do you can do these washer plates and everything depending if you're putting in a leveling plate. Let's just for now pretend that we're just going to go and epoxy these on site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up. I'm going to move this up 12 inches, and then I'm going to add a hole here. So you just use the features the same way. So I'm going to put a hole from center point, from center point, a hole on the node of this, and I'm going to make it 18 by 18. Now 12 is probably too deep. I probably just want to go 6, right? So let's move this back down again. Move this back down 6. And there, that's pretty good. And let's make this a little bigger. Let's make this 24 by 24. Okay, and then objects. I'm going to put a footing in here on the node. and it's going to be 24 by 24 by 16. So you can see we have a footing in there. So now we can have our anchors, and they'll pour concrete in around that afterwards. But doesn't really matter, as I said. So let's copy. I want to copy the feature and that, and let's go in here, cancel that. I was just setting it up to bring everything else with it, so I don't want to carry the whole slab. And this, and then we can copy this from the node to the node, and then select the slab, and then to the node, and then select the slab. So now this is how I do grout. You can do a plate. I don't bother with a plate. I do sometimes, I guess. I extrude this, and that was 1.5 inches of grout. And then I offset this -20. Then I'll pick this and I'll put it on the. Now the better thing is if you make it a plate and then you don't. I'll do one of them a plate so you can see in the next video just what the difference is. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. And there, that's what you got. Now the plates and the columns are the same color, which I don't like. So I'm just going to come up here because this is not my usual template. So I'm going to go to the columns, and I like them a kind of a lighter, kind of like that. Something like that, yeah. Alright, that's a little better for me, for my eye. So now I'm going to copy these. These other columns are the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them in a template, in a joint group. So they'll all be connected to each other. And I want to connect to this concrete, and I want to connect to this concrete, and then I want to copy the grout, and then that's what I'll leave it at today. This will be part 1. I do intend to finish this one. I know I started one before and never finished it, so hopefully I will finish it. I will finish it. I shouldn't say hopefully. Alright, so this is part 1, and I hope you guys got something out of that. I'm going to go up a little higher. Maybe I'll offset some columns here. I'll do a stairs. We'll do some hand railings, the whole lot. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next one. It'll be next couple of days or a week's time. I'll definitely have another one. I might actually record it right now. What I should have done actually before I go is you wanted to save this, which I didn't do. I should have saved this at the very start. So you want to save this in a folder so you don't lose it. So what am I did this one earlier on, so I'll just save it in here for now. Advanced Steel Overview, I'm going to call it. Overview 2024, but it's 2023 version, so I'll just call it Advanced Steel Overview. Alright, so should have saved it at the start. I'll never learn my lesson. So we'll come back and we'll continue with this in the next video. Put some bracing in, stuff like that. Alright, take care.